Greetings, gents, ladies, and gentlemen. This is Pastor Julio. This is Julio Salomon, replacing the Hippie pastor for now. The Hippie pastor is on an extended vacation. So right now I'm his spiritual brother, Julio Salomon. And I'm here to expound, and we shall continue. And this is show 19 for all you newcomers. Show 19. Before we continue with the, I've been duly deputized by the Hippie pastor to continue relating the story of his life. But before that, I'd like to make I'd like to make a brief. First, we're going to read a little quote here by Brother Buddha. The first one. I open up the book, and here it is. Always be mindful of the kindness and not of the faults of others. Always be mindful of the kindness and not of the fault of others. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. Now, there's one very important thing. I need to make a political statement. You know, we're not involved. Us spiritual leaders are not involved in politics, but this is very important to mention. Since just recently we had another high school massacre in the United States of America with an automatic weapon, killing 17 young people. May their souls be in the arms of God, and wounding many others. And imagine every one of those 17 people had a host of friends and relatives, so affecting the lives of many. I must say, allow me to say, and I mean no disrespect, and I pray this is not an offense to you. It's very funny to me. I was thinking the other day, sitting in my bathroom on the toilet and praying, and then it's very funny to me that I realized that mostly you will not find many African Americans committing these type of actions with automatic weapons and going into high schools and killing all their fellow students. You will not see very many African Americans doing this, if any. Mostly, it's Anglo-Saxon, Celtics. It's of European descent, Caucasians of European descent, mainly Northern European. I'm not talking about Southern Europeans, which are Latins, France, Romania, Italy, Portugal, and Spain. Those are the Latin Caucasian countries of Southern Europe. And they still believe in disciplining their children, especially the Italians, man. You know, they're old-fashioned. They're old-fashioned Catholics, man. They believe in good time religion. Where's my belt? Where's my belt? Good time religion. Good time discipline. Good time discipline for the youngsters. That's what they need. So you will not find many African-American young people doing this. Why? Because it is these upper middle class Caucasian kids that are allowed too much. They have too many rights in America. The parents do not have the right to discipline them anymore. They will call the authorities. They are recommended to call the authorities if the parent smacks them. They have right to their own space, their own private space, their bedroom and their computer, and they are allowed to lock themselves in their room for hours and days and weeks on end, learning all this insanity, cutting themselves off in solitary, away in their own space, getting all wacky and having time for wacky business. Try doing that in an African American home. Huh, kid? Huh? Yeah, let me see an African American kid lock himself in his room with his computer for hours, days, or weeks on end. The parents will break the door, and they will not use automatic weapons. They will use automatic, good old-fashioned knock on the head. Boy, get out of the house. Me and your mama want to make some babies. Leave us alone. Go ride your bicycle. Sell some weed if you have to. I don't know. Go play basketball. Do whatever. But get out of the house. So the African American kids are still raised with good old-fashioned discipline. And get out of the house. Maybe just my space. Respect my space. Respect my space. Baloney. So this is a problem of upper middle class white Americans. That their kids have too many rights, and the parents have their hands tied, and the teachers have their hands tied, and they're not allowed to discipline them. Point made. Now let's continue with the story of the hippie pastor. It was Christmas Eve, if you all remember. The celebration was over. Old man Clyde disappeared. So things went back to normal. The hippie pastor, he was a drug addict and selling drugs all his life. That's all he knew. Since the very young virgin age of 14. Well, he wasn't a virgin, but he was 14. And he promised his mommy, he was a drug addict all his teenage years, and he promised his mommy he was going to change now, and that he was with God, and that he had God in his heart, and that God was going to help him become a new person. He promised all this to his mommy. He was going to stop selling drugs. He was going to become a good person, a good citizen, and get a job. Get a job. Get a job, boy. Mind you, he was 21 years of age. By this time, he had never had a job. His only job was selling marijuana and LSD. So, he promised his mommy, life is changing, I have God, I want to do good, I want to be good. So, he got a job. And he got a job and just tried to live a normal life there with his family, his mommy, his sister, his brothers, his two brothers, his one mommy, only one mommy, and one sister, and he got a job. Well, one day he was hitchhiking and coming back from his job, and some Colombian dude invited him some marijuana. He hadn't smoked in a long time. And it was some strong stuff, man. It was a really good stuff. No stems, no seeds that you don't need. Acapulco Gold is some badass weed. I mean, this shit was badass, man. Knocked him off, knocked those socks off in a hippie pastor, and he went home, and he was so stoned, man. He couldn't control it, but it was not a nice feeling. It was a feeling of paranoia and thinking God was going to punish him. And he felt so uneasy that he had failed God and failed his promise. And from then on, he decided to quit marijuana for good. And but then he realized that he needed to belong to a church. He needed a support group, a spiritual support group, spiritual family, because his family, they were nominal Catholics, non-practicing of the sort of non-practicing. So he needed a church or a Christian group or people that believed similar with his revolution of love, that he wanted to love everybody and he wanted to change the world. Don't we all? So he started making phone calls and this, that, and the other. And, they all seemed sort of dead, man. All these Christian groups he was calling, they seemed like deadheads, man. I don't mean in the good way. I mean just dead, man. Boring. Totally boring, totally, I don't know, plastic, and he just didn't feel it, and the hippie pastor just couldn't find a group, when all of a sudden, he remembered back 2 years ago, in Dallas, Texas. Let me take you back, where he met some commune Christians that witnessed to him and gave them this little tract. It was called the Room Tract, about being trapped in a room. And but they were different than most Christians. They were not self-righteous. They were very liberal. They even were uncondemning, did not condemn him about his use of marijuana. And they told him that they used to also smoke before, but then little by little the Lord Jesus started filling that vacuum. So they were the only group that he realized, wow, these guys, they were non-condemning, non-critical, they were sweet, they were mellow, they were meek, they were like hippies, but with Jesus. So in his wallet, he had saved for 2 years the track. And there was a phone number of the group in Dallas, Texas. And the hippie pastor proceeded to call that number. And we're going to talk about this conversation because it is a life-changing event in his life. I love you, my dear friends. I wish I could hug you personally, each and every one of you. Peace and love. Brother Salomon.